skater Kamila Valieva has filed a new appeal to the Swiss federal court in a case of anti-doping rule violation. The athlete is currently serving a 4-year disqualification. We confirm that Ms. Valieva has filed a new appeal to the Swiss Federal Supreme Court, the court's press service reported, noting that they cannot provide any additional information about the new appeal. Tatiana Tarasova supported Kamila's decision. She did the right thing by filing. She does not want to put up with injustice. It's her business. Do I think this will help? I think she filed an appeal, and that's okay, said honored coach of the USSR Tarasova. The Swiss Federal Court had previously rejected the skater's appeal against the decision of the Court of Arbitration for Sport, SAS, which in January announced her 4-year disqualification for doping. A Russian figure skater attacked the European champion who was hyping up the topic of doping in Russia. A scandal erupted, but Hendricks herself is failing the season. When Russian athletes were suspended from international competitions back in 2022, Luna Hendricks felt like the main hope of women's single skating, in her own opinion. In a non-competitive environment, which is what figure skating without Russian athletes has become, the Belgian athlete managed to win medals at the World and European Championships, the Grand Prix final, and other major competitions. However, in the 2024-25 season, her name has disappeared from the competition board time and again. Withdrawal from 2 stages of the Grand Prix left her without a chance to make it to the series final. And the skater never even made it to the Challenger in Croatia. The only thing that still reminds us of Hendricks, at least in a sports-related context, are her provocative statements filled with resentment towards the dirty Russians for the stolen medals and their lack of self-confidence. But what is stopping her from shining now, when the threat has supposedly been eliminated? A couple of days ago, Anna Pogorelaya voiced the obvious answer, but at the same time she opened a Pandora's box. The Belgian has a powerful support team. Luna Hendricks, she said that Russian girls are being stuffed with doping. Well, they're not there, and you still don't win. What's stopping you? You don't have to say anything. This is from the series of finding an excuse. I love athletes who do their job and don't show off, said the bronze medalist of the 2016 World Championship. Feedback on social networks was not long in coming. Several users agreed that women's singles are currently worthless in the world. It's an excuse for weakness. They win because they dope. We lose because we're honest. That's why women's singles are so boring. The same would be true for men if it weren't for 2 Russian guys, Ilya and Misha, and the Frenchman Adam. Women's singles are just unwatchable right now. Amber Glenn adds a little color, but otherwise it's a dull spectacle. Ha ha ha, really, even without the Russians she still can't win. Luna, that loser, gets what she deserves. She failed at the World Championships and is losing the entire season. She misses competitions due to injuries from weak jumps. She's worthless. Otherwise, most commentators sided with Hendricks and also recalled Pogorela's failures, making fun of the painful falls during her career. There, foreign figure skaters' careers continue past 20 and don't end at 17. Anna, shut up, please. Luna may not be winning everything now, but she's still won more medals than you. Not to mention that Luna has been to 2 Olympics and made Belgium famous in figure skating. She has every right to complain about doping in Russia. It puts her health at risk. They're angry that Luna didn't have to retire at 17. The fact that Luna is 25 and still competing says a lot. After reading this interview, I was glad that Russian athletes still do not participate in ISU competitions. I do not miss this negativity. So much drama. It's no coincidence that I always think of Anna when someone has a breakdown and a program falls apart. Thank you for publishing this, because I would never have remembered her last name. Truly a Russian legacy. Anna, you are a nobody. No one will remember a single good thing you did. So, the queen of terrible failures on the ice wants to talk about other people's weaknesses? A selection of ridiculous falls by Russian figure skater Anna Pogorelaya. Behind this file addressed to Russian women, they seem to have forgotten that their flawless Luna herself has never been distinguished by the logic of her statements, radically changed her opinions in a short time, and in general, can boldly fight for the title of the most hypocritical figure skater. Here's what she said about the rivalry with Russian women in the 2021-22 season. I have very strong rivals. You are an amazing person, Addressing Anna Sherbakova. I wish you all the best for the rest of the season. You deserve it. I like Sherbakova and Valieva. They have such programs, such lines. Excellent gliding, confident jumps. And, of course, Elizaveta Tuktamisheva. She is the best figure skater in Russia at the moment. She hears the music and feels it, and she also jumps. Russian girls are so strong, it's incredible. Before the 2022 Olympic Games, Hendricks respected and, one might even say, admired figure skaters from Russia. Well, and then the circumstances of Kamila Valieva's doping case came to light, and the Belgian decided to justify all her failures with this, forgetting about her friendship with Anna Sherbakova, the fruits of her internship with Alexei Mishin and, in principle, her own mistakes, which left her outside the medal race. I always believed in the Russian girls and their results, but after the Olympics, certain doubts arose. We all want to compete fairly. It seems to me that they all need to realize that this is not possible, and something must change. Sport must be fair. Russian figure skaters are very strong. But when suspicions arose about the fairness of some of their results, thoughts arose, would they have been so much stronger than the other skaters if they had played by the rules? Such doubts arose in many. On the one hand, one can understand why Luna suddenly began to defend this position. Only with the protracted disqualification of the Russians did she have a chance for big titles. On the other hand, unfulfilled ambitions do not provide grounds for stigmatizing sports in Russia, or, to put it simply, slandering it, suspecting everyone of not playing by the rules. Alexander Enbert tried to justify her Russophobic statements. An athlete is associated with a country, so after such incidents, the Valieva doping case, trust in his compatriots may disappear. Luna Hendricks lost trust, and this probably happened to many. And it did not happen to some. This, of course, is very painful. Not only did Kamila suffer greatly, but the reputation of Russian sports suffered. But Hendricks did not stop there and continued to speak about how good it is to compete without Russians. I am lucky that Russians do not compete. I understand that I would have won more medals if figure skating were absolutely clean. I've always wondered how 14-year-olds can have such jumping ability, but I've always maintained the presumption of innocence. In Russia, figure skating is as important as football is here. I thought these girls were trained like that from an early age, but apparently other things sometimes play a role. Russian skaters have not competed in international competitions for 3 years now, and Hendricks' results are gradually heading into the abyss. Of course, the athlete found a universal excuse. The problem is in my head. Apparently, I'm not ready yet mentally. This is a big sport, and it's difficult. I felt pressure. Everyone told me that I was one of the favorites, and this really got in the way. In the off-season, I had problems with self-confidence during training. It's hard to give clean performances without some goal. The stress was really pressing on me, although many athletes go through something similar. Hendricks' new trump cards are stress and age. Only the Russian Tuktamisheva, at 26, won tournament after tournament, and with a triple axel at that, and Kaori Sakamoto took her third world title a couple of weeks before her 24th birthday. It turns out that the Belgian is not a phenomenon, as she wants to position herself. In order to justify the loyalty of fans and claims to greatness, she needs to show fight and at least take part in competitions. The European Championships are ahead, but will the current champion at least get there, or will she again say that she did not have enough time to prepare?